Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tears Take. I am recapping the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 15. The ladies are wrapping up their Grenada trip. I believe it's day 3. The last part of this trip, the theme is rebirth. And so that is the title of the episode. Overall, episode was really, it was giving filler. It is teeing up for some things that are being teased for later. So we'll see whether or not that stuff coming later is exciting or a flop. We shall see. But we made it this far. We might as well finish out this raggedy season, right? Comment below how you felt about this episode. Let me know your take and if you agree or disagree with anything I am pointing out. If you're rocking with my content, please like and subscribe and share with a friend. Okay, so let's jump in. So, opening scenes, we see that the girls got it cracking the night before. So it's just a whole lot of twerking and jiggling and all the things. Phaedra said she might have got pregnant. She might have got Cynthia pregnant. I was like, girl, you're a fool. So Angela visits Drew and talking about how fun the night was. And they start talking about Brit's performance and how Angela thought it was real, but then she saw Drew's face and Drew was just like, and pretty much Drew in a confessional was not buying it, saying that it was a great performance. And I mean, I'm with Drew. It looked a hot mess. Like it just looked over the top. It was just too much. But then again, it's Brit. So maybe it was real because that's really on brand. So then they talk about how at the dinner when Shamia was calling out Brit about the donation and then Portia was calling her out about not really engaging with the group, they were saying that, Kelli didn't really have her back and maybe they're not as close as they have kind of made themselves look. Angela said, her spidey senses are going off. Something's going on between them. And so, more to come about that. We'll hear more about that. So then Shamia's mom calls her, or Shamia calls her mom, and they're talking about the baby. And basically, like, the mom came over. I'm just really confused on what happened with the story because it's like, was the baby left with the nanny? But where was the dad? I don't know. I don't understand the story, but pretty much when the mom got to the house, she said the house was freezing. I'm like, y'all don't have heat? Like, doesn't your man work in an HVAC? The whole thing seems really weird. But this is about the baby. So she said the house was freezing. The hallway was freezing leading up to the nursery. She said, the nanny was bundled up and coats and layered up, but the baby just had nothing on, no socks, no blanket. Like, the way my blood is boiling, because I don't know how Shamia is still in Grenada. I know some people are like, oh my God, don't shame a mom. I'm not shaming her. I'm just saying what I would have done. And I would have made sure to fly back to Atlanta, make sure my daughter was good, and then proceed to hunt down that nanny, press charges, and maybe slap her before I press charges. That's just me though. So then Portia and Cynthia are just talking and meeting up. Portia shows Cynthia this giant hat. It was giving Candace from Ultimate Girls Trip when Portia and Candace and Giselle and all the others went to Thailand. I said, okay, look at you getting some inspo from Miss Dillard Bassett. So they started talking about Shamia and they were just saying how it was great that all the women came together. And then Phaedra comes in and talks about how she falls asleep to crime shows. There are a lot of people like that, and I am not like that. So it's interesting that, I don't know, I wonder what that is on people's brains that can handle that, because I cannot. So they talk about Kelli and Brit, and they've noticed as well that Kelli didn't chime in for Brit at that dinner, and they found that really odd. And Phaedra said that she has some tea, and it's basically over, their beef is over a glam squad, and Brit had said that Kelli doesn't want her using her glam squad anymore. And so we'll talk more about that, but that's what Phaedra shared with Portia and Cynthia. So then Brit visits Kelli, and Brit comes in. Kelli says that she's getting ready for court. She's getting emotional. Then Kelli asked Brit about last night, and Brit says, she felt a different energy. And then in a confessional, she says, it's unfortunate because I looked at Kelli like a sister, and, it felt like she didn't have my back. And I was like, sister? I doubt it. So then Brit wonders if the drama was only about donations, and Kelli says yes. And she was like, you're basically what she had said before. If you're going to be that girl in one aspect, be that girl everywhere else. And she was like, I want you to live in your full purpose and your full potential, all this stuff. And I was like, all right, give that a rest. That was a little too much in my opinion. So then Brit told Kelli that Kelli uses her team as a shield, her glam, her hair, her makeup, her security. So then in a confessional, Brit said, there's something that you guys don't know. There's something going on behind closed doors. And Kelli says that Brit hosted a meeting with Kelli's glam squad behind her back. Brit says Kelli sat down with her team and told them not to work with Brit. So they both have conflicting stories. I'm sure the truth is in the middle somewhere. Kelli said, I don't mind helping Brit out. I didn't mind lending her my team until she got one of her own. But dang, do you want my gynecologist too? And the thing is like, if you weren't comfortable sharing, then you shouldn't have shared. But on the other side, it can be annoying when you're trying to do something nice for someone and they just take advantage, or they think it's theirs now, or they keep asking and they keep having their hand out. So I can see it both ways, but you also have the choice just to say, hey girl, I'm not comfortable with this. I had some bad experiences sharing teams before. I don't want us to get to that place. I would really prefer not to. And maybe I can get you some recommendations. There's a way to say no, if you didn't want to help her out in the first place. But then again, maybe the latter happened and maybe she just started using them a little too much. So then Brit tells Kelli, next time that you have a problem, can you just address it with me and not in front of the group? I just want to be able to work things out with you and move past it. And I was like, am I agreeing with Brit Edie again? Can someone check my temperature? I was like, oh my gosh. And Kelli agrees. So that seemed to be squashed. So then the ladies are grilling poolside, and Angela and Portia get there first. Kelli and Shamia show up with matching bathing suits and cover-ups. Shamia says, she wants to keep last night energy going and wants it to come in today. The Minister of Tourism visits, and that's when Brit arrives. And as she's introducing them, she tells Brit, oh yeah, this is the guy who helped us with, coordinating the donations. And Brit was like, oh, okay. I was like, Kelli, you're so messy. Then it's shadow clock and they start drinking. And I'm like, okay, can we stop the shadow clock? Stop. Shamia repeats things and tries to make things happen. She keeps trying to make fetch happen. She keeps trying to make Baron Naked happen. She keeps trying to make shadow clock happen. She keeps repeating. She gets on these loops. And I don't know if that's a mental thing and she doesn't realize she's doing it, or if she's trying to make things happen and trying to have an iconic line or something. But I'm tired of it. It's not iconic. It's annoying. So then they talk about Jab Jab. It's basically it started out as a form of protest, but it's really like a carnival. It's a celebration to just give the middle finger back to the oppressor. And it's an experience of liberation. Looking at, the prime minister, Portia was like, oh, I'm leaving here with something. I said, I know that's right. Portia, get a man, Williams. I'm not mad at you this time around. So then Kelli, Shamia, and Drew talk about divorce lawyers. Kelly's ex is on his 6th lawyer. Ralph is on his 3rd. That's a sign of a problematic man right there. Kelli talks about having the same anniversary as Drew, and Drew was planning a vow renewal this year as she's coming up on 10 years, but obviously that's not happening. So then Portia pulls Shamia aside. Kelli leaves for her attorney call. Angela asks Brit if she's okay, and Brit says that she talked it out with Kelli. Portia comes back and has Shamia just model and do some pictures wearing a bikini and that really big ugly hat that she brought in. Shamia is gushing about it in the confessional, like, oh, that just tugged at my heartstrings. I said, you like it, I love it, cool. Kelli has her final call before court. She's just sharing how her ex is just making everything so difficult. And I said, she has a lot of tears for a man that looks like that. I can understand. That's a father of her children, but girl. Then the ladies get ready for Jab Jab. Shamia's luggage actually arrived on the last day. Hell no. That airline will be hearing from me. So on the car ride to Jab Jab, they just talk about, how they want their men to be like attentive and affectionate. And Brit was like, oh, I just need a man. I need my man to be obsessed with me. I said, where? Are we watching the same show? Okay, Brit. So they get all oiled up. That's part of the Jab Jab experience. They're dancing. They're having fun with locals. Portia's having fun. Angela said Portia's going to be scrubbing that oil out of her ass for weeks because it's so big. The next morning, they're all packed up and cleaned up, ready to leave. They asked Kelli about her divorce call. And she said she got so upset afterwards, her crystal broke. So then she threw it in the ocean. Everyone supports her. And it just seemed to be a restorative moment and kind of like the closing of the chapter of the trip. Kelli was saying, this trip was really, restorative, and we were really able to renew and reset and rebirth. And it was just a really good trip for everyone. Then we see 72 hours later, Kelli is still not divorced and her ex is in jail. Kelli hasn't talked to Brit since the trip. Phaedra mentions that someone's husband is cheating. So it's just mess on mess on mess coming our way in the last 1 or 2 episodes. So let's ride this out together. I want to hear from you. Like I said, overall, it was a dud of an episode. Hopefully we get some sparks at the end of the season, but overall, I'm ready to wrap it up. So let me know below how you felt about this episode. I want to hear from you. Whose side are you on with this Brit and Kelli debacle? What do you think really happened? I want to know. I want to hear from you. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to talk to you guys in the next video. Mwah. Bye.